listen so that halfway through we're not dying. I want to say hi to everybody. I'm sorry I can't acknowledge everybody today. We are hosting a featured show here. My name is Silly Lily, and you're watching Lessons Learned. We will have two amazing guests today. First, we have West Side Story, and then we have Travel Bay. I'm excited. They both are gonna. I think they're both gonna pack a powerful punch this week too. We will be starting off with the Q and Q here. Before that'll be the last thing we do before we introduce the guest. I want to make sure everybody knows that the guests nor myself are professionals. We are simply folks just like you who have been through something and think that our story can help somebody. So we're sharing our stories, our ways, how we were able to switch up and make something that wasn't very good into a positive situation, right? So just remember, we're not professionals, okay? I expect every single one of you to be respectful to my guests, or you will be removed. The people in red are ready to do so. It's positivity, okay? It's the whole show is about positivity and about bringing people together and normalizing that life's not always perfect, right? And that we face obstacles and we go through things in life that, you know, they don't always come out. In the moment, you feel like you're not going to get through it, right? Hi, West Side. You feel like sometimes things become overwhelming, right? So these folks on here come on and they share these stories so that you know that if they can get through it, we can get through it too, right? Emoji J, we have Daddy Dom and Daddy's Boo Boo. I don't know what her real name is. I'm guessing JJ for next week, I think. Before you forget. Or the next week. Not next week, the week after, because you have next week booked 2 weeks from today. So we're booking the third week now. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. In the middle of our show, between guests, like I said, we're gonna have West Side Story go first, and then we're gonna have Travel Bay up second. And in between the guests, we do a little segment. It's on self-care and self-love. A lot of us do not do enough, so I like to share that with you guys. Again, if you're just tuning in, welcome to Lessons Learned. I am Silly Lily. We have West Side Story and Travel Bay on today. I'm very excited. They both have different messages, and I think that we're gonna really learn a lot from them. So West Side, before I let you in, we're gonna do the Q and Q. Now, last week I read the quote and I asked the question at the end of the show. It says, you may be disappointed if you fail, but you are doomed if you don't try, right? So, and then this is kind of a pretty basic question, which I thought it was nice to have a simple question followed by such a deep quote, right? So you may be disappointed if you fail, but you are doomed if you don't try. What food would you like to try that you have not eaten? Last week we talked about the one guest talked about new things, trying new things, experiences. So that's kind of where this came from. Anybody? Nobody? You guys have all tried all the foods you've wanted to try. Every single one of you. You've never had spinach. And if you eat a blowfish, I'm afraid you might not survive. And I already know you don't like seafood, Dom. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Really? All you guys have all eaten. Okay, nobody's authentic Japanese food. Ooh, nice. Hello, thank you for the roses. Really? All right, I'm gonna read this. Somebody in here, like this will be the first time that I've not gotten an answer, and I'm about to be upset, okay? You may be disappointed if you fail, but you are doomed if you don't try. And here, let me switch the question up. What is something you want to do that you haven't done yet? Hi, Travel Bay. Jamaican food. Ooh, Yes. Hi, Travel Bay. Travel to Australia, travel abroad. Yes, yes. Travel to a different country, travel international. Nice, nice. Look at Travel Bay. Everybody's here wanting to travel. Did you bring the vibe or what? Or what? Race in a race car, Rich. That is a great answer. Brody says go to Germany. West Side says travel. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Chan. I never see my name, so my you guys, oh my god. So how about my stand right before the show? It's broken. So I'm holding my phone in the clip with rubber bands, trying to read the comments, moving the rubber band up and down. Oh god. So if I miss your comments, that's why, guys. So again, you guys, welcome to Lessons Learned. I'm Silly Lily. Westside, if you are ready, I'm gonna let you in the box and we're gonna learn about your life lesson. I won't hit that button until you say it's okay though. But before I do let him in, you guys, this is a featured show. I am not going to be able to interact with everybody as when my guest gets in the box, I don't pay attention to the comments. I focus on my guests until towards the end of our conversation, in which case um, we yeah, no cussing too. Hi, Tay. So, all right, Travel Bay, or not Travel Bay, I'm sorry, West Side Story. Are you ready, love? Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, I'm sorry if I don't get to say hi to every one of you. I thank you for all of your favorites. I thank you for all of your gifts. But right now, let's introduce West Side. I'm going to make you a little bigger box, too, when you come on.
Hey,
Hi, how are you, sweetheart?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So, what lesson are we going to be talking about?
My lesson is gonna be being better with my kids. That's the lesson that I have.
Okay. So, what made you think that you had to make some changes? What stuff?
I feel that in life we all have to make changes as we go. We all learn every day. So I've just honestly just gotten better at certain things. And my three things that I wrote down was structure, being present, and the justice to their differences. I have two daughters, and they like totally different, total opposites. So
Isn't it crazy how different kids can be? Like I've
definitely
my
crazy.
my oldest is just like me. It's total pain in my butt terror, right? Like, oh my gosh. And then my youngest, my daughter's like, she's my honor roll student. She reads for fun. And I'm like, who are you? Right? Like, are you sure that they didn't, if she didn't look just like me, I'd wonder if they switched her at birth, right?
I definitely understand that. That's exactly what I mean too.
Yeah. So how long have you been a dad?
My oldest is 6, just turned 6, so
So
what,
they're
6
still
years?
they're still little. Mine are I have 21 and 11. So
Oh man, okay, you was able to get through certain stages.
I know I get through them is about what yeah.
I know I need your
I
advice, don't
survive
I? I
them.
need the teenagers.
Teenagers are brutal. You know, it's not even it's the preteen. It's that 12 to like 14 where they've got almost got all the answers, but they're not smart enough to argue right. So they just argue literally everything, you know? Like I could say, oh my God, it's a beautiful day. Look at the clouds. And my daughter will find something to argue in that comment. And I'm like, oh, all right. So sorry, off track.
I felt
Um, when at what point or was there like a certain time that you realized you needed a little bit more structure to your parenting?
yeah, well, definitely. When I was in a relationship, I guess it was more both of us doing things. I could less focus on certain things. But when you become an actual single parent and you literally there, just you and the kids, now it's like all structures up to you. You know what I mean? So it did make me own in on it more.
Right, right. So having you said two little girls,
Yes.
what do you think is the biggest change you've had to make since becoming a dad?
Biggest change I've had to make. Going out. I mean, I used to be more of a person that actually went out, somebody who, like to be the life of the party type. But once I had kids, it's funny how streaming came. I didn't even really think streaming would come for that, but it actually worked out perfectly. You know what I mean? To give me a chance to interact without having to be that person outside, or whatnot.
Agree. I agree. Yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons I love streaming is that I stay home, but I can still meet new people and have fun.
Hmm.
Um, how would you when you found out you were going to be a parent? What was your initial reaction?
I was very excited, honestly. I just remember, of course, wondering what you're gonna have, of course, a boy or girl. But I was always excited because we actually planned on having a kid. You know what I mean? It wasn't like just out of nowhere type of thing.
Right, right. I was terrified. I said, "You're pregnant." I went. I was terrified, but that very moment that you hold your child for the first time, your entire life literally just changes, right? Like everything just refocuses. Do you think you agree? From when you held your
Definitely, yeah, I think because I mean, of course, me having to do a lot in the situation, but I can understand her being a little more nervous than me having to actually give birth.
yeah.
But I just when I first seen my little girl, it was like you said, it's like love at first sight for real. It's like there's no better feeling than that. You know what I mean? Than that moment that you actually bring a new person in the world.
Yeah, it's part of you is now out there, right? Like a little miniature version of yourself. Um, I'm trying to think of questions here. This is a little bit of a different scenario than most because I don't dad. I mom, and I know it's the same, but it's not the same. So, what do you think? Like, as a single dad, what do you think your biggest struggle is? What do you think is your biggest head-on issue?
One thing that I actually wanted to be better at is that being present. Man, I think that's in every situation in life, but with the kids, just being the example, not having other things on your mind, not letting the situation that you dealt with get involved in, you know what I mean, what you're doing with your children, and just being more present. Honestly, was one thing that I seen when it's time when they have their time is their time. There's no other distractions, you know.
Right,
Thank you.
right. Um, what's the most rewarding thing about being a dad for you?
Um, so it's so many. I love being a father, honestly. The most rewarding thing, honestly, seeing them grow up, seeing them do a new skill, seeing them actually start becoming a little adult. My youngest just started school um this year, preschool. So watching them actually get into them new stages is so rewarding for me.
Right, right. Yeah, well, I'm watching them grow, like when they make the first step or say the first word, right? Oh,
Oh, yeah,
kids are crazy, and it I'm trying to just keep petting him to keep him quiet, guys. But if I'm a little distracted, I'm just trying to keep him quiet. Sorry. Um, let's see. What else? What else? What were the three things that you had wrote down? Being, I know you said being present.
adjusting to their differences.
So what do you mean by that?
Yeah, just being able to actually know that they need different things. I have one like almost like similar to what you said. My oldest, she could read a book for fun. She could literally just sit there by herself. She don't really need nobody around her. She don't need none of that. The youngest is a star of the show. You know
Okay.
what I mean? She gonna make sure she in front of everything. She gonna make sure she heard. And
Yep.
it's just just being able to nurture both of them in different ways and not making one try to be like the other one or nothing like that.
Yeah, that was one of I think the most surprising things to me was how every kid just needs something a little bit different. And I guess it's just kind of like adults. We all have different things we enjoy doing and different ways to view things, right? And then
Definitely.
what were the other two? I'm sorry, my memory's not very good.
Oh no, you good. I just put structure, being present, and adjusting to their differences.
So what kind of structure? What do you think that you had to adjust for you and for the kids?
Yeah, just honestly making each thing have its own time. You know, making sure that you get this in instead of not getting it in, because it's easy to not get the proper amount of reading in or not get the proper amount of activity in. You know, so making sure that each day is actually have certain times to do that instead of just winging it.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, I mean the library has been a big help in all of this, but yeah, just making
I
sure.
A lot of people don't go to the library, but we I still go regularly. I Like I said, my daughter loves to read. I've got two bookshelves over here, and she's probably read every book on the bookshelf. So it's
It's almost like a bad thing and a good thing. I'll be the only one in there. We be in there just having a good time. It might, there might be two other families come in and leave out or something, but yeah, it's not a lot of people that's in there.
and they've got like the cute little kids section. Ours does anyways, where they've got the puzzles and activities. So it's something like it actually entertains them for a little bit, and it's a little outing. It's quality parent child time. So yeah, I love that you guys go to the library. I really do. Um, What do you think for you, looking back, like when to the first day that you found out that you were going to be a dad to today? Well, how do you reflect, and how, like, what's the biggest difference, I guess, for you?
Um, it's a good question. From the time that they was here to now, honestly, because I just hit the dirty 30, y'all. I gotta put that out there, dirty 30. So I just think honestly, just more mature in my approach, and just I believe I'm a much better parent just by my maturity level. Um, yeah, honestly, maturity. Because when I first had the kids, I was just, I was just like, I wanted to have the kids, of course, but you don't know what you're getting into exactly. It's like, are they? She still crying?
She's- I think we're both crying at this point, right? Like, there's those times you're both crying, right? The baby crying, you're crying, mom's crying, everyone's crying. You don't even know. Like, my daughter was upset the one day, and I think she was getting a tooth. My son was
Oh,
crying with us. My grandma woke up and started crying with us. There was four of us in the living room crying over a tooth trying to come in, because none of us could sleep because the baby wouldn't stop crying, right? Oh,
sometimes you gotta just let it out. Silly.
like, oh, the tears, they flow. They're
You,
real.
you know, you know it's getting bad when y'all just start forgetting who was the last person to do it. You're like, no, you was the last person to do the bill. I know you.
Your turn. Your turn. Get the baby. Calling your name, right? Oh my gosh. Babies. They're exhausting, but man, are they worth it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Everything takes some adjustment. I think the world is set up like that to make sure we get. You can't be wild. You can't be going out the whole time. We're gonna get some structure in you
Right,
for these
right.
kids.
So I think my biggest question for you is going to be this one. Um, what would your recommendation, what would your advice be, I guess, to younger, newer parents?
My advice to younger, newer parents.
Or just new parents, period, about to be a parent for the first time.
I would say, hmm, that's such a good question, right?
And there's a lot to go to it, I
Because
know.
it's a lot. It's a lot. It's so deep. I would say focus on the differences in your kids. Have goals already set up that you will want them to attain, which is adjustable. Of course, you may write down you want to be a singer, and they actually more of gymnastics or something. But have goals already set up, and that's a big word right there. Thank you so much. Balance. I'm so happy somebody said. I can't think of the word I want to use.
There you go.
Balance is the biggest word, because when you have a kid, sometimes you get caught up in the fact that you just have a kid and you don't balance it out with your partner, and you don't want any stagnation or anything not going right. So balance is the biggest.
Did you see the one comment? Ms. Pumpkins, make sure you get enough sleep before the baby's born.
You can never get. Ain't that funny though? You can't make up 24 hours, right? You can't say I got it last night.
Get lots and lots and lots of sleep, you guys. And I think my best advice to especially a new mom, and I think it goes for dads too, but yes, Solo, when that baby takes a nap, You lay your derriere right on down next to that baby and you take a nap too. The dishes can wait. The vacuuming can wait. The laundry can wait. Sleep when the baby sleeps, mom and dad. I'm telling you, if that baby's sleeping and you're going, ugh, lay down with that baby. I promise you, everything's going to be okay. Yeah, you got to wake up to the mess, but you're not going to be as tired. I promise you guys, nap, right? Westside, do you ever just try to get stuff done because your babies are sleeping and then you're exhausted? And of course, that's the night they don't sleep, right? So then you're up all night on top of no nap.
I'm happy to be past them baby stages, y'all. They go straight through the night now. We straight through
Yeah,
the night.
right. Exactly. All right, Westside, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where can we find you? Do you got your IG, Snapchat, all that fun stuff?
Yay. I'm West Side Story once again. I'm a streamer on here. I stream every night pretty much. You can fave me. I do a show every Friday. It's a feature show for musicians and people that do storytelling. Every Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern. Also, last but not least, I have an auction coming up. If anybody would like to be a part of it, it will be a great auction August 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern.
You have an auction you're hosting?
I'm hosting it, yeah. So if anybody would like to be in. So.
I have a one and done unless you're in the top two battle coming up on the 27th. Maybe we'll discuss and sign up for each other's.
Was that like a battle royale type thing?
So it's not a royale. It's just so everybody, I have 5 specific gifts. You can gift the star, good morning, good night, and the new space halo and the rocket ship. So those are the only 5 gifts that can count. And then it's a one and done unless you're the top 2, and then you'll face off the next night for bragging rights.
That's
You gotta
tight.
have a
Yeah.
bragging right to it, right? So like I just don't have 4 nights to give to a battle royale. And Kitty Commander, who is like literally my better half on this app at the moment, she right. Oh my god, I freaking love her. I don't know what I'd do without her. I'm gonna tell you. Her and I, to be honest, we'll get on the phone. It's 3 hours minimum conversation. It's bad. But yeah, she actually, someone had mentioned to her how you take the top 2, and that way it gives something towards, you know what I mean? It's something to aim for rather than just the one and done. So I liked it. So
Yeah, that's a tight. I like that idea. Honestly, it makes it even more fun.
Yeah, and not everybody can, not all of us have support for 4 or 5 days. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I like the fact that it's the one. I like the fact that it's no big gifts, so it can include every level of streamer. So
definitely, I love it. Well, yeah, let me get the flyer. I'm definitely interested. I appreciate
send it to you. Maybe I'll hop on yours too, because I don't think I have much going on that weekend. I'll have to double check on my calendar though.
Okay.
All right. So
Thank you for the
he said
opportunity.
11 p.m. tonight. He's got his show that he hosts. So if you're free tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
Yes.
let's go check him out. I'll be at work, so if I'm not getting my butt handed to me, I'll definitely stop in.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for discussing parenting and being a dad and sharing your stories with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, y'all.
Make sure you guys have favorited Westside. Let's check his show out tonight if we have a chance, please. Now, in the middle of the segment here, we do a little bit of self-care, self-love. How many of you guys have done some self-care today? What did you do for yourself today? What did all of you do for yourself today? Daddy Tom. I already know where your brain goes, dude. Like, ooh, Miss Pumpkin says I played the piano. Miss Pumpkin, if you have IG, please add me to IG. I would love to have you on my upcoming show with the piano. An ankle oh no, Daniel, what happened? Oh, I really hope that, yes, Miss Pumpkin, if you scroll down to the bottom of my bio, you'll see it. All right, so self-care tip number 1, get dressed up. Making an effort with your appearance is a simple but effective self-care tip, right? Dress up, do your hair, get your makeup on, go out and hang out with your friends. Oh, previous injury, Daniel. Rich says you want to. Okay. Nice, Rich. Sending love and hugs. For those of you guys just tuning in, you're watching Lessons Learned. I'm Silly Lily. You just missed West Side Story talking about becoming a new dad. And we have Travel Bay coming up, and I'm going to let her tell you what her topic is. So if you get dressed up and you go out for a night on the town, even if you're just going out for a simple, oh, he says I learned some new dance. Was that Fem Young says I learned some new dance steps. Yeah, I like to dress up. I just really never have anywhere to go. So honestly, like I get dressed up for my show and I feel great and I love it. But then I have to undress myself in of my fancy clothes and put on my work clothes and go get dirty. So I don't get to stay dressed up for very long. Thank you, you guys, again for all the gifts. Thank you for all the favorites. I appreciate every single one of you for being here and for listening and just being a part of today. Here's a question for you guys. When was the last time y'all sat down and read a book? If I get really frustrated or I get really upset, I'll grab a book or a magazine and I try to find, my daughter taught me this. My daughter taught me, Mom, if you find a good book, you can get lost in it. And I thought about that for a minute. And I asked her, I says, what do you mean? What do you mean get lost? And she says, well, Mom, sometimes I just get really mad at the kids on the bus. I said, okay. I said, so she said, so I just read my book and ignore them. And I was like, okay, okay. Interesting. And so then I kind of sort of started to pick up books and everything. And I don't say that I read all the whole book at one sitting or even in 1 week, but I do catch myself grabbing books to kind of just get lost, forget the realities of the moment. Music is another great way. You turn the music up and just sing until your heart's content, right? Let's see. Ooh, you guys ready for this one? You guys ready for this one? Practice daily gratitude. It's important in maintaining a positive mindset. I wake up every day and I high five the mirror. I know it sounds silly, but I wake up every day. And in that moment, when I'm high fiving myself in the mirror, I cannot say or think anything negative about myself. Can't. Try it. First few times you're going to laugh at yourself, roll your eyes, be like, this is stupid. Ha ha ha. But I promise you that as you smack that mirror to high five yourself, in that moment, you cannot be negative. You can't. You might try, you might joke about it, but you don't mean it because we associate with high fives with things that are positive, right? So when you're doing this, your brain is automatically going to a better place. High five yourself. It's something silly. Mel Robbins taught it to me. I love her. She's amazing. Look her up. She's on YouTube. Travel Bay, I'm going to do a few more questions and I'll give you a couple minutes of the heads up for when it's time, just so you know. If you're just tuning in, I am Silly Lily. You're watching Lessons Learned. You missed an amazing message from West Side Story and you're about to listen to Travel Bays, okay? We're going to do one more self-care tip. Ooh, I like this one too, okay? How about smash 3 goals? Write down and smash 3 goals. Complete your to-do list. I don't care if it's 3 small daily things. Wake up, make coffee, drink coffee. That's 3 goals that I just smashed, and that's the start to my day. We're working towards huge goals. But they also, you have to take baby steps to get to that goal. You don't just wake up, snap your fingers, and poof, everything's perfect. You have to work. You have to work really hard for your goals. You can't be a quitter, that's for sure. Where did we leave off here? Hold on. Ooh, okay, here we were. We left off with that. So when something does not go your way, something that happened recently, it didn't go your way. What did you learn from it? Get back in. Dom says, wake up, get out of bed, and go back to bed. When something does not go your way, do you learn from it or do you just get mad about it? You know, like you're planning a night out with your friends, right? And you don't get to go. Do you just, you've got to adjust to your situations, right? Learn from it. Know that things aren't always going to go your way, and learn that life is about compromising and making adjustments, Oh. If I had time, what would I do? What is something you guys wish you had time to do right now? I'm very curious. I'm going to give you guys a minute or so to answer this one. Math and use it as a learning experience. If I had time, what would I do? Quinn says paint. If you had time right now, like if you always say, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time for that. What is the one thing that you wish you had time to do? I wish I had more time for vacations. I wish I had more time with my kids. Go horseback riding more and meet new friends. So, my question for you now is, why are you not doing it? If you want to go horseback riding, why don't you just get on the horse and go? If you want to get out and go see a concert, why don't you go? Why are people so hesitant to do the things that they want to do? You guys realize we only have one life, right? You guys realize there's not a redo in our life. Why do you stop yourselves from doing what you love? Why do you stop yourselves from experiencing new things? Why do you let your fear or such a simple, weird thing like time stop you from doing something you want to do? We all have time. So what? The dishes didn't get done today. Oh well. Oh God, the laundry's got to get done tomorrow instead. I didn't vacuum today. That stuff, almost said a bad word. That stuff's still going to be there tomorrow, right? But that moment for you to go to that concert or to take your kid to a certain park is is far more important than your dishes. If you have time to do the things we want to do, you guys, I really do. And we're gonna do one more question, and then Travel Bay, I'm gonna have you hop in the box. All right, love. That last question. Well, that actually kind of falls into that one. So, what scares me, and how does it hold you back? What's your biggest fear, guys? And how does it hold you back? People. Boob says she fears people. Why? If you're just tuning in, guys, welcome to Lessons Learned. I'm Silly Lily. I want to thank you for all the favorites and all the gifts. My biggest fear is fear itself. I'm afraid to do this. I'm afraid to do that. You know what? Failure. That's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is failure, right? But that leads into my quote for today that we started today with, right? You may be disappointed if you fail, but you're doomed if you don't try. So by not trying, I've already failed myself. Do you know what an eye opener that was a few years ago? You mean if I don't try, I can't succeed? What? You're not just going to hand it to me on a platinum platter and be like, congratulations. Because for a really long time, I really thought that like, oh, you're very welcome, kiddo. You know, my grandmother, I said, oh, I want that Barbie. And my grandmother would get me that Barbie. I never really had to work to try to get stuff. The same thing. Oh, wow, kitty. Isn't it crazy how sometimes things work, right? So I think a lot of us need to remember that we can't let our fears control us. We have the power to overcome them. We all do. All right, who's ready to meet Travel Bay? Again, make sure you guys are hitting my guests with favorites. Make sure we're gonna go check them out. Travel Bay does a lot on this app too, so I'm excited to introduce her as soon as she says she's ready. I don't want to just get her in the box. I'm always. All right, here we go, guys. Welcome, Travel Bay. I just don't want to get you picking your nose or I don't know. Hi.
Hello, hello.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. So I guess let's just I don't know if you want to just dig in, if you how you want to do this. What are we going to be talking about today?
Okay, so my lesson learned is learning to trust God 100%.
Okay, I like this. I like this. So what made you realize where was there a certain moment in your life where you realized how important he was to you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always been a very like spiritual person. I was raised like we were raised in church. I've always been like my family's always been considered to be very religious. So I've always had it in me, but it's just like, I feel like sometimes in life we have things that happen where it's kind of us and our faith alone that we have to really like make the decision that we're going to like surrender ourselves 100% to God and like trust trust his decision making and just trust our place and where he's left us. And so I feel like I hit that um 5 years ago when I lost my husband.
Okay. So yeah, that's a pretty defining moment, huh?
Yeah.
Um, what do you think I guess the you said you've always been big on church and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've always been very spiritual. Like just I mean, like for me, it's always something that happens where I feel like I'm constantly having conversations with God and just talking to Him about different things that are coming up. Sometimes He kind of foreshadows things for me. And a year before my husband passed away, one of my best friends lost her son, and I just remember like watching her process losing him and being there with her. And I kept feeling like God was preparing me for something, but I really didn't quite understand what it was. And so, just watching her, she was so transparent, but she was like hurting out loud. She wasn't trying to like shy away from what she was going through. She never like, a lot of times people are going through tough times. You say, well, how are you? And they'll give you the fake answer. Oh, everything's fine. I'm good. And so she was one of those people where she never did that. I would ask her how she was, and she would literally break my heart every time I asked her. And so I just remember me and her talking, and she was saying that the morning before her son passed away, she was walking, and her and God were having a conversation. And she said God asked her how much did she trust him, and she said she thought it was so weird because she was like, "Well, that's a strange question." And she's like, "I trust you 100%." And he was like, What could I challenge you with in life that would make you question your faith with me? Like, what would make you not trust me?" And she was like, There's nothing that could happen. Like, I would trust you no matter what. And she said that God asked her, What about your son? And she said she was just kind of like thrown off, like, well, that's a weird question. Like, why would he ask me something like that? And then of course, that night he passed away. So it all made sense to her. And so I just remember when she told me that, just thinking how scary that was to have that conversation. And then a year later, I found myself having the exact same conversation a couple of weeks before my husband passed away.
Wow, I got goosebumps. That's it's really crazy how if you just actually stop and listen, what you can learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just it's. Um, yeah, I couldn't. I've not been married, and I've only ever lost my grandfather that I've been close to, and I think I struggled a lot because I didn't have that belief back
Mm-hmm.
then, and I'd say I still sometimes struggle. I still go back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
but to just knowing that he's there, knowing that you've got that backup and that everything happens for a reason, it has helped me move on from it.
Mm-hmm.
But it took a long time for me to accept that. I was not always a believer, you
Yeah.
know. So I definitely love that you're on here talking about that. Um, what do you think motivated you through some of the biggest struggles to keep your belief?
I think well, so the couple of weeks before he passed away, I was walking, and we were going through something, and I kept questioning like, why is this happening? I was quite confused because I've always considered myself to be a person where I pray for things before I make decisions, and so I felt like I was aligned with God when we made the decision to get married. So anything that happened that was too rough, I always wondered like, okay, did I not listen? Because surely you wouldn't have placed me here for me to go through some of the things I was dealing with. And so when I was having the conversation with God, he kept telling me just to trust him. I kept thinking to myself, like I knew something was about to happen, but I didn't know what. And so it just made me like really go into like a deep prayer and just like literally like it was like one of those things where I felt like the only option was completely losing myself or completely surrendering myself. But they're both the same exact thing. So it's like I could either surrender myself 100% to him or to myself. And of course, I'm going to fail if I surrender to myself because the only other option would be to give up. And so I just feel like even with everything that happened, I feel like God kind of had his hand like on me and was like with me the entire time. And so having the faith was just one of those things that was like in the back of my head. I'm thinking to myself, even though it's as bad as it is, it's going to be okay. And so like that was just the thing I kept reassuring myself, and that was the thing that God kept reassuring me of.
It's yeah, it's everything works out, right? It's hard. It's so hard to accept that sometimes, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because the pain definitely outweighs for a while. The um, I am thinking. Sorry, I my brain is like processing so much that I'm like I want to ask 50 things at once. I don't know what to get all out. I think when you're faced with the struggles and stuff, and I guess I think one of my biggest questions was when you like I how is it that you or what tools I guess do you use to keep yourself on the positive path? You know, I mean, I know you talk to God and he helps, but what other, you know, things do you use that kind of relate to that, I guess?
Um, well, for me, I think it was I've always been very optimistic. Like, and I always tell people if you think back to the worst experience of your life, like whatever it is, if you anytime you're going through a tough situation, think about the absolute worst day and think about how at the moment you thought you weren't going to make it and then you did. And you just have to put yourself in that same mental state. Like if that horrible situation worked out, why wouldn't every situation work out? And trusting the process that sometimes working out doesn't look like what we think it will.
Right.
Like sometimes people will say, well, I lost my parent. I prayed that they would be healed from this, from cancer. Or I prayed that the person that had a car accident would wake up. But like the situation being okay, just because it's not what you wanted it to be, doesn't mean it still wasn't fixed. Like there's still peace in every situation, regardless of if that's what you wanted. And so to me, surrendering 100% to God was not just trusting that I was going to be okay, but trust that He was going to be with me. Because the thing is, I was listening to Lauren London the other day. I don't know if you guys know her. She's a celebrity. She lost her boyfriend a couple years ago, Nipsey Hussle. And I was watching this documentary that she was doing with this person. She was saying that um, at first when he first passed away, she was so upset and she was saying, "But why me?" And God had to humble her and say, "Why not you?" And I think I found myself in that same place a lot of times because it's like we keep thinking that God owes us something. And I had to realize the hard way that he doesn't owe me. Like I got married, yes, I thought I was gonna have happily ever after. I made my wedding vows. I thought I was aligned with everything in God's vision. And to me, the happily ever after, the to the death do us part, I never actually considered that part because I assumed that would be much later down the line and I would have time to get there. But that wasn't his promise to me. His promise to me was that he wouldn't leave me, that he wouldn't forsake me, and that I wouldn't do anything by myself. So surrendering to him was just more so like accepting that I'm going to be in a horrible situation, but I would always have somebody that would like be holding my hand to help me navigate through life.
I like that a lot. That a lot of us go into situations, and when we say our prayer, we can't, we struggle to accept the outcome because it's not what we necessarily want. But I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and I'm a firm believer in that. So I do, I really like that the outcome might not always be what we want, but
Right. And,
it's for a reason.
right. And it's even, and I even had to remind myself that even in hearing that everything happens for a reason. But when you're the person that lost someone, to me, I don't even have to agree with that part because like people say, oh, God makes no mistakes. Well, it's okay that when you're going through something, you feel like that was a mistake. You know, like it's okay to accept that you were in a really tough, vulnerable position and it there wasn't a reason. It doesn't make sense. Like the logic isn't adding up. And I think that's a part of the process as well. Because sometimes as Christians, we're taught to, oh, you shouldn't question God, you shouldn't do this, but you're human. Everything we're taught from the very beginning is making things make sense. Things need to add up. And so it's okay to work through the process and try to understand your place in it. But for me, the end goal was not trying to understand why I was put in the position I was put in. It was more so trusting that I was there, but not by myself.
I like that. So much good advice. Oh my gosh. Eh, I mean, I think you covered all the questions within your answers and whatnot. Is there any other topics you'd like to touch on that you'd like for people to hear, to share?
Um, I think when also, I mean, another thing with me is I feel like always trying to find the silver lining. I think forgiveness is always key. Um, and even in the situation with me, I feel like the thing it taught me was it taught me, to, of course, to have a close relationship with God, but it also taught me to trust the people that God placed around me. Because like a lot of times we go through life, we're so busy, but we have to understand there's a reason certain people are put in your path. Like don't like for me it's like don't assume every person that is in front of you is a person that's supposed to be your happily ever after, your forever person. Like God sends us people along our journeys to restore us, to like reassure us that we're doing the right things, that we're on the right path. So like just trusting those angels, as I consider them to be, like the people God places, whether it's a job that you don't quite understand why you're there. It may not be where you're supposed to retire, but you need that job to meet this person, to restore you for this reason, to help you for the next thing.
You've given me chills 3 times. Like that's my mind when I hear things and they hit home. That's 3 times. That's the most that anyone's given me the chills on the show, Travel Bay. uh, wow. It's listening to a lot of that, right? It's resonating because I've met some people along the way recently, and some of them not so good, and some of them have just been a blessing in disguise. And it is really crazy how you meet the right people at the right time, or sometimes you find yourself at the wrong place at the right time, or just for something new, something different. And I think change and stuff, that's hard for all of us. So,
Mhm. And
uh,
you have to also think about like sometimes the wrong people, it wasn't actually for you. Like you could have been the person that God needed to teach that person a lesson. And so like even even the people that hurt us, it's like that's a lesson that we couldn't have learned with anyone else. We had to be in that position to learn something, to grow, because the more comfortable we are, the more we challenge ourselves and push ourselves to be better.
well, I mean, I think I'm gonna let her end on that note, you guys. Wow, Chalube, tell us about you. Fill us in on where we can find you, what you do on the app, your other forms of. uh, IG and Snap and stuff.
Yes. So I have a show on Sundays. Actually, I wrote a book about my grief journey. It's called Love Letter to Grief. And every Sunday I have someone come on. They share a letter about someone they've lost, and that's at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. And then on Monday nights, I do a show called Time to Sing. It's a game show. Wednesdays, I have this funny show called Bad Advice for Travel Bay and Dr. Weddington. Thursdays, of course, is my feature show, Save the Day, because I'm a wedding planner, or at least I was prior to COVID. And so right now, I'm just trusting the process and enjoying live streaming and, just filling in where I need to be.
Nice. Yeah, you guys, make sure you hit her up with a favorite, please. Thank you so much for being here. I, I know, I'm overwhelmed. Both of you guys are absolutely amazing today, and I thank
And
you.
and right there in the comments, Travel Bay's number one sniper, that's Texas State of Mind. You guys can hit her with the favorite. She's an amazing streamer. One of my supporters on the app adore her, and I saw Divine was here. So thank you for having me, and thank them for being here to support me.
Yes, thank you so much, Travel Bay. I appreciate you, and we'll make sure to try to come check you out in one of your shows coming up
Okay.
here.
Thank you, love. Thank you for having me.
Much. Bye. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm kind of just wow, right? Like I don't know. I've been questioning a lot of things lately, and I honestly I feel a lot better. Like it's just to me, I think my favorite part about this show is how every guest has such a different impact on the with their lessons learned, and how everybody has gone through so many different things. And Travel Base, she's so positive. That was just so positive. She's been through some that's got I could not imagine. I can't even imagine. And for her to be on here and to be positive, it melts my heart. Thank you for the gifts, you guys. Thank you for all the favorites. I appreciate all of them. Um, for those of you just tuning in, you are watching Lessons Learned. I'm Silly Lily, and you missed West Side Story and Travel Bay today. West Side Story talked about becoming a parent and some of the changes you have to make and adjustments and adapting. And then Travel Bay just talked about how you have to trust in God. You have to believe. We're not always going to understand and we're going to question things. But at the end of the day, you have to believe, right? If there's anybody on here that does a show that would like to mention it, let me know. You can throw it in the comments. I'll bring it up. Let's see. Oh, I don't know where my little calendar is. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 sec. I just got to reach for my calendar right over here. Sorry for the off screen. All right, let's see. So I usually have this next to me. Sorry, guys. I can't keep my stuff straight. All right, so coming up, I have on the 20th, I'm in a cat fight battle. I might also be in West Side Stories auction. We have Shoot for the Moon. I am hosting Shoot for the Moon on August 27th. If it's something you might be interested in, please hit me up on IG. It's a battle, one and done battle, except for the top 2 gifters. And I would love that it's filling up fast. So I would love to make sure that if you want that slot, make sure you hit me up and you get in. It's one of the battles for newer streamers, middle streamers, experienced streamers. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. And then let's see. For those of you that don't know, Mick Baller has a poetry night Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Scantron has Deal with Scan at 9 p.m. on Wednesdays, and OG Lucky has a show on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. as well. Okay. And then Kitty Commander on Monday at 9 p.m. Quinn and JT have a show Sundays at 9 p.m. called Chowing Down. Hoops on Tuesday. These are the shows that I try to make it to, by the way, guys. Hoops has a show on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Find Me Nemo has Finding Ambition 4 p.m. on Thursdays. Boss Branding has a show noon on Friday. So coming up in an hour, guys. We'll see you there, right? And then Smurfy has Biz Smarts on Saturday at 4 p.m. So those are the shows that I do try to make it to throughout the week if I can. But we are going to end today here on a quote and a question, a Q and Q. We will answer the question next Friday morning at 10:08 10:06, 10:08. It's in between that couple minutes after the show gets started. But today's quote is, every one of us lives a life we did not expect to live. We begin with passions and dreams and with the basic conviction that all will turn out for the good, more or less. Some of it does turn out for the good. Most of it, though, is a startling combination of the unexpected and the inconceivable. Wait, what? Let me read that a little bit louder for those of you in the back. Every one of us lives a life we did not expect to live. We begin with passions and dreams and with the basic conviction that all will turn out for the good, more or less. Some of it does turn out for the good. Most of it, though, is a startling combination of the unexpected and the inconceivable. What has happened in your life that was unexpected? Don't answer now. We're going to answer this next Friday. Okay? That's a pretty powerful quote. Oh, I want to answer it right now. I gotta wait. We gotta wait, you guys. We gotta wait. Is there anybody else in here that has a show that is featured or that they would like for people to know about? Does anyone else want to give themselves a shout out? I've got less than a minute here, and then we are going to be ending the show. I think that was all my stuff. I don't have a whole lot going on this week. Thank goodness. I want to thank Travel Bay and West Side Story for being here. Both of you guys had amazing, powerful messages, and I so appreciate both of you very, very much. Can I shout you out for being awesome at doing this show? Well, thank you, Kitty. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate every one of you. If you're just tuning in, we are about to end this show. We're here every Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again, you guys. I appreciate you all so much. But I am going to go ahead and I'm going to hop on off here. And I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And I hope to see you guys back here next week. Okay? I'll see you guys soon. All right. Remember, I love you. I believe in you. And never, ever, ever give up on your dreams. I'll see you guys soon. Mwah. Bye.